Alright guys, what it do? It's your boy X coming at you guys with another video. And in today's video, we're going to talk about rental properties and how you can get your first. What is the best way to get your first rental property? Because everybody know what it means to rent out a property, right? You know, I pay $800, I rented for $1,000, right? We get that much, but how do you get to that point? How do you find the deals? What are you looking for? What are the best areas? How do you find all this out? That's what we're gonna talk about in this video. I'm gonna show you, well, not really show you. Well, I guess you say show and tell. I'm gonna tell you how I got it, what I did to get mine, how you can get yours, and what to be looking out for. So let's get into today's video. All right, guys. So if you don't mind, would you please, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, and if you like the video and like what I'm talking about, hit the like button for me. I greatly appreciate it. But we talk about rental properties, and I know we all want to rent a property, but it's hard to do. Truthfully, it's hard to do. Why is it hard to do? Because a lot of people struggle with getting their first house, let alone an actual rental property. So step one of how to get an actual property, listen to me, would be make the decision. If you have the opportunity, like stay with parents or a relative or friend, whatever the case may be, and you can pay either nothing to eat, like very low to nothing, I would say do it. Do that and then venture out to get a rental property. But if you're not one of the people who's that lucky where they can't go stay with a friend or relative, or like have like a lot of roommates, so your rent will be very, very cheap, the fastest way to actually get in a rental property is house hacking.
You smart.
Now I'm gonna tell you what house hacking is, because that's how I actually got my first property. Now I just really want to make that transparent. This is how I got my first rental property, and it is a method that I truly believe everybody should utilize. Everybody, because it made it affordable. And when I say affordable, this is what I mean by that. If I were to go out and just purchase a property, like say I went to a bank and I said, hey, I want to buy said property, and they say, hey, all right, cool, what's your intent with the property? Are you going to live in it? No, I'm not going to live in it. I want to rent it out. They're going to say, all right, fine. They're going to help you do that. But in the process of helping you do that, what they don't tell you is rental properties are at a higher interest rate. Yes. If nobody told you, I told you. And if you appreciate that, hit that like button. But in actuality, having a rental property, you normally would get like a percent higher if it was your actual primary residence. So primary residence get a lower interest rate than the actual rental property. So off the rip, that's one thing, right? Next would be the down payment. If it's your primary residence, you can get into your first primary residence with either 3.5% down up to 5%. So you can easily get into your house. Because I know that sounds like a lot, and it is, depending on like the area you live in and like how much house you're trying to buy. 3% of like 200,000 and 400, 500, 600,000 is a lot. But it's way better than what you actually have to put down if it is a rental property. Now, as far as rental properties, the down payment, it can vary, and it depends on what the lender is trying to get you with. It can be between 20 and 25%. The lender I went through was Rocket Mortgage, and I haven't bought my third property yet. I'm looking. So they quoted me, as far as down payment is 25%, because this is my actual first rental property. I'm going to just sole purposely buy as a rental property.
What?
Now, I know you're confused about that. Like, what do you mean your first rental property? I thought you already had one. I do, but that's where the house hacking comes in. Now, hear me out here. To get a house at 3.5% to 5%, or to buy a house at 20 to 25%, that's a big difference. You're talking a decent sized money down versus a chunk of money down. And this is the thing that can actually halt people from getting into real estate. Now, if you use house hacking is what I done. I bought my first house at 3.5% down, stayed in my house for a year. I was then able to rent that house out and buy myself a new primary. So I bought the first house 3.5% as a primary, stayed in it for a year, and then I moved on to my second property, which is now my new primary, at 5% down, and I rented out my first one. So now that is how I gained my first rental property. It was actually my first home. Now I'm in my second home. Now my third property, I'm going to put the 25% down, and then also next year, April, my year up in this house will be over. So then I can now buy yet another new primary, and then at that point I will be at 4 properties, 3 rental properties, and I would have done all that within a span of 2 years. And I think that's pretty decent. Like I said, I know some people out here flipping houses and doing their thing, but this is all me. I'm just taking it step by step. But by next year, I'm looking to have 4 properties, 3 rentals, and I use the house hacking method, which is amazing because that third property I'm getting, it took me a extensive time to actually save that 25% down. And that's why I say it can really, if people don't want to use house hacking, getting actual rental properties are fairly hard. And I know it's always best to put 20% down for that cushion to help you with the houses, but it's hard. That's just the bottom line. It's very hard. Now we're going to talk about how did I get a good property. Now I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. Keep it 100 here. If you grew up somewhere, especially if you're buying real estate in your hometown or your home city, whatever the case may be, you know the good parts of town and you know the bad parts of town. And what I was taught when I was learning where to buy houses, if you're not willing to go there in the dead of night to like pick up rent or do something that a tenant needs, may not be a good place to purchase a property. Those houses can be a little bit cheaper, whatever the case may be, but may not be the best. Now for me personally, like I said, I live in Memphis, so everywhere could be deemed bad. So choose your poison. But that is what I was taught. So, and me personally, I want to somebody asked me, how do you actually go about finding properties? That is an actual good question. How I did it was, when I linked with, when I first bought my first house, I had already knew I was looking to get into real estate as far as the investing wise. I wanted properties. This is what I wanted. So when I reached out and I found a realtor, I about to make sure I find a good one, and I did. She's great. And what I told her is, like, off the top, I'm looking for a realtor because I told her I'm looking to purchase properties. So this is what I want. If you can help me with that, I'm perfectly fine with solely working with you. And she was, all right, cool, say less. And she added me to her email chain, and any property that comes up that she sees, I tell her what I'm looking for and what type of area, what type of price range, if it's a duplex or whatever. When she sees them, she immediately sends them to me. Now I do also check Realtor, Redfin, Zillow every day. I try to check at least 3 times a day, in the morning, around the time I take a lunch at work, and at night when I'm going to, before I go to sleep. So I do check these apps every day to see what's popping in my price range and what areas every day. But also with that, I got to shout out to my own realtor. She really does help, because she does send me some. They may pop up in the middle of the day, and if I see her name come across the email, I know it's a house. Let me go ahead and stop and look at it. It may be something that I can hop on that's worth my while. So my advice, me personally, get a good realtor. And I know some people may be a realtor themselves, so you can do it yourself. But if you're not a realtor yourself, I would recommend finding you a good realtor, somebody who you can talk to, you can vibe with, and y'all can help each other out. So that would be my most, if anything, do that. If anything, most definitely get you a good realtor, because they can most definitely come clutch. So But that is how I found my first and second house. Because both my first and second house were listed, and I just looked over them. Oddly enough, I just looked over them because the pictures. And that's another thing I would say. Don't trust the pictures. They can sometimes they just don't take good pictures. So you might have to actually get out and just go look at them. You know, you get an off day or something. Hey, can we schedule a couple of looks at? Look through, see what we can do, and you go out and look at those properties. If you jiving with it or whatever, hey. But pictures can be deceiving. I most definitely can say that is a big tip. Not all sellers make the best pictures or take the best pictures. So sometimes it's best to see with your own eyes. And I looked over both of these properties, and if it wasn't for my realtor, I would have never got these two. So, like I said, a good realtor can really help you. All right, so these are pretty much the ways that I was able to, gain my first two properties. It's primary through house hacking. I gotta hand it to you. It's an amazing, strategy. I would strongly recommend doing it. But this is the most affordable way if you really want to get in. It really is. So check it out. Like I said, I'm gonna leave an article on house hacking in the description. Read about it. If you have any questions, like I said, hit me up in the comments. I have no problem answering any comments. Like I said, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. I most definitely appreciate it. But it's your boy X here, and I'm out.